Curious how to go from construction lumber like this to making something gorgeous like this? Stay tuned in this video as I take you through step by step the entire build process that went into making this custom tabletop and table base. Let's get to the shop. So first off here, I've got some 2x12s that started at 10 feet. I cut them all in half, so you see they're in 5-foot lengths. But the first step in this entire project is getting this from what I consider rough cut lumber to actually milled, ready to use pieces. We need to make sure that all of these are completely flat, that all of our edges are square. We don't want any of these rounded over corners that you see here. So let's get over to the planer, then we'll hit the table saw, get these milled down to shape. Let's get it. Make sure you've always got your hearing protection on anytime you're running one of these planers. I don't care what brand it is, and I don't care how much you paid for it. All of them will do damage to your ears. Now notice I ran that completely through the cut. I've got it caught on a stand down here on the end. I shut my blade off before I'm gonna go in here and start moving anything around. I do this with every single cut. You need to be as safe as you possibly can so that you can ensure that you can do this job for another 40 or 50 years. With our one side ripped down, you can take all of your strips that you cut off here and just throw them into the burn pile, because some of you guys are hanging on to your straps for way too long. This your side. All the work on the table saw done, we can take our ears out now. If there's anybody watching this that has connections with IsoTunes, tell them to get a hold of me, because I'd really like to get a pair for the shop here.
Call me! Call me! Call me! Call me! Call me! Call me!
With all of our boards ripped to 10.5 inches, we're 1.25 inches thick, just a hair over to allow for some wiggle room when we go to sand. I need to figure out the orientation that I want these boards and how I want them to display. I really like this orientation here. This keeps all of the knots and all of the grain patterns fairly random. I think it's going to look really nice once we cut out our hole. Let me show you a reason as to why I chose this orientation and see if we can't spark some kind of controversy down in the comments section. If you've been around woodworking on YouTube, I'm sure you've heard about this before. Now, you've heard of smiley face and frown face. You've heard of alternating these. And I've seen a lot of gentlemen that know a lot more than I do argue for both ways. They say that it does matter, they say that it doesn't matter. If you have experience in this, leave me a comment down below and let me know what your experience has been. I don't know that I'm completely convinced, but to be on the safe side, we're gonna go ahead and do that anyway. Joint 1, joint 2, joint 3, and joint 4. And now I'd like to take just a brief second to show you guys what's in this mystery bag. This is quite easily one of my favorite tools that I've ever owned, and it could actually save you a ton of money. Well, what I've got here is an electric doweling jointer. What this does is essentially the same function as a domino without the side-to-side action. It drills a straight hole consistently every single time that you put it on the wood so that you can put dowels in your joints, which adds strength and it helps keep everything aligned. Biscuits are great for what they do, but they don't really add any kind of strength to your joint. I believe that the dowels do a similar job to what the dominoes do for a fraction of the cost. But I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys. This is an Amazon affiliate link. I do get a very small percentage back on this. So if you're planning on picking up this tool or any of the other tools or materials that you've seen in this video, be sure to use those links because every little bit helps such a small channel as mine. And I'll show you my favorite way that I've come up with for drilling these in. Let me raise the camera up just a hair here. Much better. So I like to take one small clamp on one side, pull my board off just a few inches, and I'm gonna clamp this board to the work table here. That makes sure when I'm putting pressure on this and drilling it, it's not going to slide and move around. It just did. Ignore that. Right like that, you're done with it and you can move on to your other 16 holes. There you have it, 32 dowel holes drilled perfectly. They're all gonna align exactly where we want them when we do our glue up. With all of our dowel holes drilled, let's go ahead and get all of our pipe clamps set up here. We'll get these stood up on end, get our glue applied, and clamp all of this tabletop together so it can sit overnight. Come along with your glue spreading tool here. Go ahead and insert your dowels. And then pull out your dowel setter 3000 here. Now with our number one edge against our second number one edge, we're just gonna line up our marks. It should set on there. Nice and neat, right like that. We don't need to go crazy with it. Our clamps are gonna pull everything together. And that's all you have to it. We're going to let this sit for 24 hours and completely set up and cure before we take it out of the clamps. Ugh. Man, I'll be happy when we drop a little weight. Come on. Ugh. It's unreal how heavy these tabletops are. If only they put a dust collector port on that sander. Don't you hate when you organize the shop so well that you can no longer find the tools that you put up? Snap my blade off. And there it is. Everything feels nice and neat. Of course, we need to sand around this edge to clean it up. Now we just need to sand around the outside to get these spots that we hit with CA glue to ensure that our router sits nice and flush as we're working around our edge profile. So let's start everybody's favorite chore. We're gonna put our 80 grit on the sander here. Get our vacuum fired up, and then we're ready to go. There we go. I'm gonna wipe this off, and then I'll go through and do our outside edge. We did it. We've got a black table now. We've got a black stained top, which is gonna look awesome with our two-tone black painted base. We're gonna have that awesome dark two-tone black look to this table. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I'm gonna leave you guys here for a while. Keep an eye on this table for me. I'm gonna go do some Christmas shopping. Come on, Stringy. I've got a few dimples and whatnot in the roundover. That's expected. There's a little bit of dust in the top. That's expected. All of that's going to sand out and lay flat, and it should be nice and neat and clean when we get ready to hit our second layer. So let me go ahead and get this sanded up so I can get the decals on and we can get ready for that. We've got our decals applied. Now, I'm not 100% certain that the epoxy is going to stick to this decal. This is the first time I'm doing this, and I'm not entirely convinced that it's not the first time it's been done. I don't know. I haven't seen another, reference myself. We're going to pour it. We're going to hope for the best. I think everything being sealed around the outside will make the center of this perfectly fine. We won't really know until it's set up and it's finished. But let's go ahead. I'm going to mix up 3 containers of 16 ounces this time and mix them into this larger 5-quart container. Then we'll pour, we'll spread, and leave it alone for 72 hours. And this time around, I'm actually gonna put some of this around the outside edge before I scrape this over. I think that's really gonna help keep us from having any kind of weird malformities around the edge of our table. So I'm gonna take my fingers, I'm gonna dip them into the epoxy here, and I'm just gonna smear some of this around the outside edge. The top has had 3 coats on it total. I know I showed 2 coats on camera, but it needed one more just nice little thin skim coat to finish off the top. Chamfer, bevel, beveled, chamfer. Let's get this done here. Now we've got our 1/2 inch 45-degree chamfer all the way around the outside. It's going to give us that almost diamond cut appearance to our reveal on our edge on our tabletop here. Guys, you won't hear me brag about, you know, particular tools or materials or things like that on this channel very often. I don't have any sponsors. We're too small for that at this point. Something I'll pursue further down the road. But honestly, I've used so many different brands of these steel C-channels here. And this Blulu brand that I order off of Amazon is by far my favorite. These are amazing C-channels. I recommend them to everyone. If you're not using any kind of a table skirt underneath your table, which this one is not, I highly recommend installing these into the bottom of your tabletop. Okay, now to blend in all of the edges around here, I've switched to blue nitrile gloves, and that's a really important step because, not really, but now that I've got your attention, I'm just gonna work that in, kind of blend it right on into the other side here. All right, there's one coat all the way around. Let's go ahead and get a second. Had to switch to the corded drill. That cordless will do it, but man, it was getting hot. Look how awesome this is, guys. Of course, I need to get this out of the dusty shop now so I can actually clean it all up. But you're going to go through, these are removable, and where we cut these out is bare wood now. So I'm going to get some of my oil-based poly on a rag, and I'm just going to wipe it around the inside of these to seal this wood up. That way, as condensation is building up on these, it's not just soaking into this wood, causing problems down the road. But for right now, I'm going to move this out of the shop so that we can get on to building our base. If you guys have followed along this far, then that really proves to me that you like the stuff that I'm making. You take value in the content that I provide here. I would really appreciate it if you would do me a massive favor. Like the video, go subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell and switch that to all so that you don't miss all of the future projects that we're going to be creating here on this channel. I try to be as value intensive as I possibly can. I'm using these 3-inch screws. We know that this is 3.5 inches thick, so we're not going to have to worry about it penetrating on the other side. Let's go ahead and get our second one put together here.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Let's try this again. So I was going to leave this part out, but I believe in honesty and I believe in transparency. I don't believe that you should be on YouTube telling everyone that you're perfect, that you never mess up, you never make mistakes. Everything that you do while you're learning something new is about making mistakes and learning what not to do in the future. And when I was putting this other bottom section together before, it was a little tighter than it should have been. When I put the paint on the inside, it closed up that gap just a little bit too much. And when I was hammering it down, that put pressure on my boards and it split this piece. I rebuilt the entire bottom section, repainted the entire bottom section. So let's scrap this piece, let's put this one together, and we'll continue with our build of our base here. That one's gone. All right, coffee in hand, it's time to get to the final steps here. This is to make sure if they ever need to back this out at all, they're not just gonna back the entire insert back out of the piece. Now all that's left to do is to tap these into place. Put your insert inside the inner hole. Give it a little tap to start setting it. And then drive it in. Now you can adjust these in. I leave them out about 1/4 of an inch from the hole here. When you get to where you're setting these up, you definitely want to make sure that almost everything you do is going to be fairly tool free. Now I'm going to cut the channels for our Z-clips into the top, and I'll show you how that's done. So that's it. This is our final product here. We've got our fully customized epoxy tabletop here on our fully customized base. The base is adjustable. Both of these are set to go through temperature and climate changes. Everything is built to last a lifetime, and even the cup holders are removable to be washed. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what part you found the most interesting or the most confusing so that I know what to work on in my content coming in the future. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you need to go back and rewatch any section of this video, feel free. I'll catch you guys next time.